Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Press Play Movie Chat. Tonight we're going to be talking about Shaun of the Dead. Before we get into the movie, though, I do want to cover with you just why we are here today. Stefan and I, as well as a couple of other people, have a really fun time when we go to the movies. But when it's over, the best time we have is that time we spend together talking about what just happened. Inevitably, every single time that happens, we'll spend a half hour doing it. And then next thing you know, someone says, hey, let's go get a beer. Let's go get dinner. And we'll go do that. And then someone along the way is going to say, yeah, but what about this movie? And it may be something you've heard of. Maybe it's something you haven't. But what our movie chat is about is just a couple guys, a couple people sitting around talking about our favorite films. So we're going to cover Shaun of the Dead, but we also have a very special guest tonight who's coming in, and he's going to talk about his movie. Here's the catch. We don't know what it is. So we're hoping that by doing so, we catch that spontaneity, maybe fall down a rabbit hole or two, and just have some fun time talking. So Stefan is my co-host. Stefan, say hi to everybody.
How's everybody doing tonight? We're so excited, me and him both. And if you guys don't know, I've known this man for 30 years of my life. He is my father. He's a wonderful man, and there's nobody I'd rather be doing this with. But yeah, Shaun of the Dead is the choice tonight, and I think the reason why we picked that movie is because it has a little bit of everything.
I agree. If you noticed on the thumbnail, it said horror, comedy, or is it something else? Because Shaun of the Dead definitely has a little bit of a very hint of not political, but social commentary. And the thing that's so great about it is they don't hit you over the head with it, but man, do they make it funny. So give me your overall opinion of Shaun of the Dead stuff.
I love Shaun of the Dead because it's the best mixture of blood and beer that you can ask for. It's just a fun ride from beginning to end, and it just relates to me just because it's just about these just normal group of people going through a pandemic like we are, right? So it's survive and adapt, and it's fucked up along the way.
All right, so just so everyone's aware, because I don't think I made this clear to Stefan, that'll be the last time we use the P word, and we definitely won't talk about the C word. That's a big YouTube no-no right now. So first cast in, hopefully we don't get flagged.
My bad, everybody.
No problem.
Sorry, YouTube.
No problem. So I see that we do have a couple people coming on to the chat already. That's awesome. Hello, Camden. It's good to see you with us tonight. I appreciate you coming.
Hi, buddy.
So before we get into Shaun of the Dead, and I will tell you this, as far as that movie is concerned, myself personally, I've probably seen it 10 or 11 times. I did not see it when it first came out. And when we get into the actual drill down or the dig in of the story, I'll kind of share something with you as far as a personal story that's involved in that movie itself. So here we go. I've got a couple more people joining the group here. And so before we go any further, I want to introduce to you our special guest. Okay. Adam McLean is with us tonight. Adam is a longtime friend of mine. He's an extremely talented musician. He is a martial artist, actually was my Wing Chun instructor. But something that's cool about Adam is he also has a background in fight choreography and in stage combat. Now, I'll have to have him explain to you exactly what that means, but basically, if I understand, and he'll correct me, I tell you what, let's bring him on and I'll ask the questions. Hi, Adam.
Hey, man, I was so hoping you would just like go on and on and on and start explaining it. That would have been
good. So my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Whether it's a play, movie, what have you. So let's play pretend it's a Marvel film, and in this film they're going to be having this big fight scene, and there's swords involved and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The person who does the choreography has to have a certificate saying that they're allowed to use swords or that they've been trained in the proper way to use them. Is that correct?
Yes and no. let me backtrack a little bit if that's okay.
No, please go right ahead.
So I'm still currently, even though I'm retired, that's a longer story. I'll tell you more about that in a minute.
Okay.
A certified teacher and a fight director with the Society of American Fight Directors. And it's the largest organization in the country. If not the world, there might be some other ones. I've literally been removed for the last 3 years, and I can talk about that in a minute. That works with people that do violence and choreograph violence for stage and film, and all sorts of other projects. As far as needing certificates and everything else, that's more of an internal thing with the SAFT, and lots of people in Hollywood that do this kind of work, which I never worked at that level, but some of my teachers did. They don't require the actors to have signatures. They just train the snot out of them. Like if you look at some of the John Wick stuff or the early Matrix films, or Troy with Brad Pitt, Richard Ryan, who is a fight master with the SAFT and the BASSC in England, was one of my teachers. You know, a lot of those actors are busy being actors, and they don't have a lot of that training. They didn't get it in undergrad or grad school. Some of them did, some of them didn't. So they just put them into boot camps and train the snot out of them for weeks on end, if not months, and then put a sword in their hand. So the actors themselves don't have to have a certification per se, although there are some walking around. Shaniqua Martin Green, I think, that's in Star Trek Discovery, and was in The Walking Dead, actually trained with a guy named Scott Mann, I believe, down in Georgia, who's one of my colleagues.
Nice. That's cool.
But yeah, it was an interesting world. I was more involved in the university setting and academic teaching undergrads and grads, and retired because the academic environment got a little too toxic for me. And just kind of moved on, but it's still very much a part of me, much like all the Wing Chun and the martial arts stuff. I don't practice regularly anymore, but it definitely has informed everything I've done since, if that makes any sense.
Well, if I could share a little Wing Chun story, and then we'll move on.
Bring it.
All right. So Adam, as he was teaching us, it was funny. We kind of pressured him to do testing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because you really didn't want to, because you didn't think we were interested in it, and so we had the film of my first test, which was really kind of funny. My brother-in-law saw the
show
that. My brother-in-law. I
don't want to see me.
My brother-in-law actually looked at the listing of everything we had to know for our first progression.
Mm-hmm.
He was a brown belt at another school and said, "You have to know more than I already know just to make the first progression." Which I explained to him. I was like, "Well, in this system, there's only 5 rankings. You've got 400.
Right.
That's basically what the difference is." But if you remember, we were doing the one-on-one where you would just throw a punch. I would have to counter, and I pinned your knee backwards.
Oh no, I don't remember that.
In the video, you can literally see your knee go boop as you're going back, and you went. And I was like, "Oh my God." And you went, no, I'd have to brag how my first year student broke my leg, which I didn't. I didn't break his leg. Thank God. Thank God.
It's all good.
So if I were the one to introduce our special guest, I would just say, hey, everybody, I don't know if you've heard of Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee, but our guest would kick their ass. That's the bottom line.
All right. Only from a distance with good editing.
Yeah, and a high caliber weapon. Yes. So that being said, all right. So let's get off the personal stuff. I'm sure I'm starting to bore everyone. The whole purpose of this is to just have friends and talk and have a good time. So, what movie did you bring to the table today?
Oh, already? We're going to get to that? We're not going to talk
about Let's do it.
First?
No.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. Are you ready? I'm going to be so disappointed if you've seen it. You ready? Close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Open your eyes. The Fountain, Darren Aronofsky.
No.
You've never seen this?
Never heard of it.
This is a graphic novel that he wrote. Darren Aronofsky and Kent Williams did all the artwork in the graphic novel, which is stunningly beautiful. The movie was released in 2005, maybe 2006. I'd have to look at it again. And it originally was going to be a big budget film with Brad Pitt and I think Kate Blanchett. And for some reason, Brad left, I guess, went to another film that he thought was great, and they shut the production down. Aronofsky went home and got upset and then went, wait a minute, why am I upset? I started as an independent filmmaker. Why don't I just go that route? And
Okay.
he stripped the budget down from some huge astronomical Hollywood, 300 million plus,
Yeah.
down to like 35, and hired Hugh Jackman and Rachel Weisz.
Ooh, I like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And he also, I read somewhere, I think I came across the quote again, he was sort of inspired by some personal things in his life. I think his parents were diagnosed with cancer. So he was, like, oh crap, what do we, this is going to suck.
Right.
And then
Which it
he
would.
went to see The Matrix with Keanu Reeves. And when he left, he said, everyone is going to be visually emulating that movie for the next 20, 30 years, much
Which
like
they did.
Like with Star Wars was another big one that he cited, and 2001 Space Odyssey. He said there was nothing like those two movies when those came out. And he said The Matrix has that sort of visual thing that everybody wants,
Right.
That's new and exciting with all the, the cameras. And he said, I don't want to repeat anything that anyone's done. I want to do something unique and interesting. And now I have this personal sort of connection with my parents that maybe I can tie these things together. And he started working on it. And the graphic novel, I think, came out between the time that the big production was shut down.
Okay.
And then he decided to do the other one, and they were released roughly the same time. So the graphic novel is a little bit more detailed. There's a little bit deeper storytelling. And the reason I like it so much, without giving away the plot points.
Oh, give it away. We don't care. Give it
you
to
don't
us.
Care?
You got
we don't care.
Movie, man.
Give it to us, man.
All right. Well.
Oh, and wait a minute. Before you go on, just so you're aware, apparently T. Schaus is in the crowd tonight, and he's commenting. And if you can see his comment, he says that apparently Brad Pitt's character was based on him.
Excellent. I'll look him up and see how good looking his ass is.
Good to know.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So the graphic novel and the film came out at the same time. I think I saw the trailer for it first before I read anything, and I went, oh, this looks terrible. It's like 3 time periods, one love, will they find each other? And I was like, oh, poo, this is awful.
Yeah, just another romantic, right?
Yeah, but for some reason the visuals were popping out at me, and I think I'd watched another Aronofsky film and was kind of like, oh, I want to see another one, see what he does. And I read somewhere there was a graphic novel, and just decided to watch it on a whim. I think it was one of those days I was off of work or had a couple days off or something. Nobody was home, and I was like, I'm going to try this out.
Okay.
And I turned it on, and by the time it was over, I had to kind of walk around in circles and go, what was that about? What I missed a lot, or I have to think this through, or you know what I mean?
Was this one of those movies that it took you a couple days to decide whether you liked it?
Yes.
So like me with Pulp Fiction, right? I watched Pulp Fiction, and at the end of it, I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a couple days to get there.
Yeah. Much like the story elements in Pulp Fiction were kind of broken out and rearranged. And somewhere someone told me that they re-edited Pulp Fiction in chronological order, and they said it's not a very good film.
Probably not.
Yeah. The Fountain kind of does that too. It bounces back and forth between these 3 things, and they kind of overlap at times in a really interesting way, which I don't want to give away for you guys. But it made me think, and I had to think about what was going on, as opposed to, and I'll liken it to the first Matrix movie. The first time I saw The Matrix, and Keanu Reeves takes the pill, and then they strap him in the chair, and they're, strapping all this stuff up, and he looks at the mirror and it sort of moves.
Right.
And he goes, did anybody see that? And he sticks his fingers in it, and then it goes all over his face, and then he opens his eyes, and he's like, why do my eyes hurt? And Lawrence Fishburne says, because you've never used them.
I feel that
and as an
way,
audience member at that moment, I was going, what the hell is he talking about?
That's exactly the way we feel every morning, Stefan said.
Exactly. The hell, my eyes are
ready to grow.
But the audience didn't know what was going on with the character. They were riding that journey with the character. So you can talk about Keanu not being a good actor, whatever, or the directing's bad, blah, blah, blah. But storytelling wise, you didn't know as a viewer what was happening, just like Keanu didn't know what was happening.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or
So
Mia.
they used that device to
Yeah.
kind of show you, hey, no one really fully understands. Maybe these two or three people do, but your main character is
Yeah.
as lost as you are
Yeah.
right now.
So you're
Right.
either as a viewer going to get up and go, I don't know what's happening, I'm leaving, I don't like this, movie sucks, or you're going to go, what's happening? And The Fountain was the same way. There was so much shifting and moving and interconnected things. It was like, wait a minute, does that little bit means it's connected to this? And these are all, okay, I need to watch this again in a couple more days. And I've since gone on to watch it about once a year, I think.
Yeah.
Where I'll just sit down and go, okay, it's quiet time. Megan's out of town, my wife Megan,
Right.
doing a singing gig or something, and I'm just going to watch this and see if I can follow it and see if I can find those clues. And every single time I watch it, new information comes up.
Well, that's cool. What kind of genre would you call this? Is it
I think it's
sci-fi,
labeled as
fantasy?
romantic science fiction, but it's not.
Psychological thriller kind of.
Yeah, it's definitely a love story.
Okay.
Most definitely a love story.
Well, we're big fans of love here on the
We love love.
love, love, LUV.
LUV love.
Yeah, but it's a fascinating visual film, and the way they utilize the special effects. There's a name for it, and I can't remember what it is at the moment. Where he didn't want to do a lot of computer generated effects.
It's more practical.
Yes.
More practical.
Much more practical. Interesting new techniques. There's a constellation or a nebula called Xibalba, I think is how it's pronounced. And to get the effect of them moving closer towards it, there's like layers of gold liquid under glass that are moving somehow. So there's all this incredible depth, and it doesn't look. And it was.
I don't know if you can tell or not, but he's a lot smarter than we are.
Oh, you stop. I just read all this stuff. It's all available. It's not like but it's a very visually stunning movie, and I think the love story is really great because it's not cliche or
it's not Twilight.
No, it's none of that. No,
thank God.
Teeny bopper, weak-willed. No, I don't watch it. Gross.
No. All right, so this is where we're going to stop you for just a second, and I want to take just a moment.
Yeah.
And I want to just real quick. All right, Camden, Mar, thank you both for joining us tonight.
Micah and Alex, big money. Thank you for being here.
Nice, Micah. Miss Grace Holcamp, it is a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much. You're starting to feedback on us, Adam.
Oh, I am? Oh, God.
Yes, sir. Mr. Schaus, thank you for joining. I appreciate you being here. I'm sure your lovely lady is with you, so tell her we said hello as well. Mr. BF, Mr. BF, it's good to see you, sir, and I hope things are going well out there. I know that they are. You need to say hi to BF.
I don't know who BF is.
That is Mr. Brandon French.
Brandon French, what's happening?
All righty, and so I just wanted to, right now, as it stands, we have, let's see here, I think I saw somewhere around 15 people.
Nice.
Okay, in the room. So, Stefan.
Yes.
How would you rate this movie? Do you think this is something that you would press play on, or would you walk away?
I mean, look at the cover.
I mean, look at the art. Because here's when you're watching a movie, the first thing that jumps out to you is how visually good it looks, right? It's the colors. If you dress it up to however you want it and it's beautiful, then I mean, of course, you've got my interest. It sounds like an intricate story. I definitely would press play, but I would pause on one thing.
What's that?
Is my thing about a movie is if it's a good movie, no matter how many times you watch it, you can jump in. As you said, you watch it once a year. If I'm scrolling through the channels and it's halfway through, Am I going to jump into this movie and I don't care what's going on? And that's the way I judge movies. But I will definitely say I press play on that. And you, sir.
Well, you mean jump in if you've seen it already and it comes up on TV again?
Yes. If you've seen it already and it's 45 minutes into the movie and I'm scrolling and I see it and I can just jump right in, enjoy it and love it like I seen it the first time.
Well, let me give you a couple of examples, Adam.
Yeah, man.
If it's late at night and I'm sitting there by myself and I'm flipping the channel, I've got my Crown or whatever I happen to have with me, right? I'm sipping on something other than water, and I'm flipping through the channel, and I come across a movie, right? There are a handful of them that no matter where they are in the movie, I can stop right there and watch it all the way to the end. Tombstone, Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. You understand what?
I got you.
Jurassic Park. The question is for you: is this a movie you could do that with?
Oh, absolutely. I would probably stop doing whatever I was doing. If I was like checking email, clipping my toenails or something mundane. I'll just try to think of something mundane. I would certainly stop everything I was doing and watch, especially if it was late at night. And I'd be probably a little pissed that I didn't catch it from the beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So here's my thing. Stefan said that he would press play.
Yeah.
I think that I would as well. Okay. I would give this one a chance based on what you're telling me. It sounds like it's a very interesting story. Visually, it sounds very interesting. I will tell you though, when it comes to a love story, if there's not something that reaches out and absolutely grabs me, because I'm a touchy feely. I am. I'm one of those people. I cry.
I'm surprised he hasn't cried yet.
I cry.
I am. I just am. There ain't nothing to be bashful about. But if it doesn't reach out and grab me, I would probably not be willing to watch it again. So, according to what you're telling me, this is a movie that may take more than one viewing to fully pull in.
I wouldn't say fully pull in. I would say fully understand.
Okay.
I think it pulled me in absolutely from the first 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But
really
understanding the scope of the film and how it plays out. And if I do give away a little bit of detail about it, because if you are going to watch it, I don't want to ruin it for you. But
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
The trailer advertises it as 3 different time periods. You know what I mean? They're like 1200 BC, 2000 AD, 2500 AD.
Okay.
And that's not really accurate. The part that's in the past is actually something that's written down. It's fiction.
Okay.
But you're not sure if it really is, or if it's Hugh Jackman's character just kind of going, I'm placing my grief on top of this to make it somewhat real so I can cope in real time and hope for the future. So I went, is this a metaphor, or is the future when he's trying to cure death and get to Xibalba and all this other crazy shit that's going on? Is that him fantasizing that he's past that point of grief, or is it really him in the future doing exactly what he said he was going to do in the present? And part of what's fascinating about the film, and it really goes to Rachel Weisz and Hugh Jackman's ability to act, and especially coming from a university background where I was teaching not only stage combat, but movement. He does 3 simple things in there that blew me away. And I used to have all my movement students watch the film, just even the first 20 minutes of it, just to see it. Is that in the past, he plays this sort of conquistador where he is very vertical and he's very forward. And he's like, we're on a mission. We're going to go get this thing. We're driven. And it's all coming from, his will.
Right.
And so even when he's standing still, there's some part of him that's moving forward. And you're like, damn, that dude's got a mission. He's out to get whatever he's getting.
Right.
But he doesn't have to speak that. He just has it in his physicality. He's like, I'm going to go fracking get this thing. In the present, where he's dealing with everything with his wife and what's about to happen, he's trying to figure out how to help her. And he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, literally. So he's always slumped over. She's standing there going, let's go look at the first snow. And he's like,
so the progression really shows the change.
Yeah. And then by the 3rd time period, when he's in the future, he's light and lifted and he's like doing Tai Chi and he's loose, and he's like, we're already, there's nothing more for me to do. We just have to arrive.
All right. So
And
all right. So I can tell by your passion
mhm.
that this is probably going to be something that I am going to press play on. All
Okay.
right. So do me a favor. Give the chat the name of the movie one more time.
The Fountain by Darren Aronofsky.
All
And
right.
this is the graphic novel based on the same sort of script, although it's a little
They're all different.
a little more
Right.
detailed. Yeah.
Right.
But
So
the movie
so
looks a lot like the artwork, if that makes any sense. The color schemes, the
yeah.
sort of
The
dark.
overall vibe of it.
It's
Yeah.
just it has the overall vibe. All right.
And
So
you can see the shift and change in the color from the past, present, future, all that stuff.
So
Yeah.
in the comment section, guys, right now, let's all do this, okay?
Ooh,
If you think that this is a movie worth checking out, okay, let's hit PP and put it into the comment chat. PP.
PP.
If not, hit
Thank you, Stephanie.
W for walk away. So PP or WA. Let's see what the chat says.
I'm curious if anybody else has seen it.
Well, I think as they do that, we should really dive into the meat and
PP.
potatoes.
BF gave a PP.
BF, shout out. I said we get the meat potatoes of it. What we came here to talk about.
So all right. So we gave Adam about 20 minutes to sell us on the movie. At this point, we're all thinking that we're going to press play. I'm showing that BF is saying that he's definitely going to check this out and press play.
Right on.
So we're going to move on. Troy Schaus is saying he's going to press play, and so is Mark.
Well,
it looks to me like you have won.
Him, so
yeah. Well, Troy did say that he was, that the characters were based around his beautiful. Oh no, Grace Holcamp says no way, no way. All right, Grace. So listen, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna move.
Grace is like, ew, science fiction, romance, ew.
I will have you know that Grace, who I love like none other, she is one of the from a great family of people. One of her favorite movies. Well, hold on a minute, Grace. Would you like to in the comment, please list what one of your favorite movies is, so that everyone will know the movie I'm talking about, and you know what I'm talking about. If you don't want to, just type a no.
I'm really
Alex is walking away as well.
Oh, Alex is saying walk away. He's not into the love story.
Nope. Some people don't like it.
No.
And that's what makes.
So we're going to move on. Grace, go ahead and put that in there, and I'll bring it back up when I see it, okay? All right. So we're going to talk about Shaun of the Dead. Adam, would you like to hang around and talk with us?
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Excellent. So Shaun of the Dead is a movie that was released in 2004. It is an Edgar Wright movie. Eric Hancock says he's going to press play. Nice to see you, Eric.
Nice.
He said he's actually seen it and has dug it.
And gets intense in parts.
Definitely strange. Gets into the conquistador story pretty much. Yep. All right. Are you ready? Here it comes. Jeeper Creepers from Gracie Holcamp. One of her all-time favorite. Okay, so imagine a horror movie that is so bad, it's delicious.
Much like the 4-hour Schneider cut of Justice League.
No. I mean, it's so bad. It's like the original Evil Dead. It took hits from that. It's just it's very cringe-worthy, but the kind of cringe-worthy that you'd love to have a room full of guys or girls with you laughing their butts off while you watch it.
Is it made to be cringe-worthy, or
no? And that's what makes it great.
Same with the 4-hour Justice League.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, so Shaun of the Dead was 2004. That movie was an Edgar Wright film. It stars Sean Penn. I said Sean Penn. I've done that about 12 times. Simon Pegg. And I hate to do that because I'm horrible at things. But Simon Pegg's, I think, in this movie, and you can maybe back me up a little bit, guys. I think he was, he really showed acting chops in that movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was his first major film.
Yeah, I really, as silly and as campy and all the stuff in the beginning when he's trying to go to work and he's not noticing the zombies.
Oh my God!
For 2 days, I think it was.
Yeah.
You know, because he
Well,
wakes up hungover the next day,
exactly.
and he just
And
walks by everybody, and the shop
Well,
owners in the back all
here's the
like,
funny part: is the first time he does that scene, right? Because they mirror the scene. It's the exact same scene,
yeah,
right? Where he walks out of his house and goes to the store. They're not zombies at that point.
no,
They are by the true definition of the word zombie, which is
yeah.
someone who is basically mundane, walking through their
Yeah.
same file or same lot in life
I
all the
wasn't
time.
checking my phone. I was trying to demonstrate being a zombie. I don't think it
Yeah,
went
that's
well.
exactly it. And it's funny in that scene, right, when he goes and they're all zombies at this point. Did you notice that everyone he passed was still doing pretty much the same thing they were doing when they weren't zombies?
Yes.
well, right, he
Yeah.
gets hit. I mean, he gets to the house and he gets hit with the soccer ball that the kid was kicking around at the telephone pole and
Uh
things
huh.
like that. But I mean, I love that scene because I know myself, you guys, the people in the chat, we've been there. You know, you wake up, you're hungover, it's cloudy, you're driving to the store, shit's happening you don't care about. You're just focused on I'm walking into the gas station, getting a couple zingers, and getting out of here. You relate to it.
Yeah.
That's what you like.
It is.
Yeah.
It
But
is.
his acting chops, I would agree, because all that silliness, all the repetitive visual themes, but when it came down to the stepdad and his mom, it got really honest very fast.
Oh yeah, and
You
so
know?
so let's hold on to that for just a second because I want to talk about both of those scenes in a little bit more detail in a few minutes.
Yeah, man.
So there's something in this movie. If you as far as the comments are concerned, everybody, let me know. Have you seen Shaun of the Dead? Just a simple Y for yes would be great. An N for no would be fine as well. If you answer N, I'm going to ask you where the hell is wrong with you and where have you been. Um, it's my first or second, depending on the day you ask me, favorite horror comedy.
I
It runs really close with Tucker and Dale versus Evil as far as laughs are concerned.
nice.
But this one's much better. Eric says that he's seen it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I saw World's End first, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah.
Of course, Mara says absolutely not. Mara's my wife, by the way, and she hates
Oh.
horror films. I'm surprised she's even still on the chat to listen to
Oh
what we're
wow.
talking about. BF has definitely seen it. So here's the thing that the reason I asked on the thumbnail horror comedy or something more or something else. Would you all agree this movie was hilarious?
Absolutely.
Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely.
Had some great callbacks to horror,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The window scene and all these things. Okay, but it was also a class in filmmaking.
Oh yeah. They
Uh
I felt like they turned a lot of the conventions on their head because all the boo moments were with
huh.
real people. Someone would walk up and tap them on the shoulder and go, "Hey, I need you to do this thing." And the music would be shocking. But every time they showed a zombie, they sort of faded them into the frame, like the couple kissing outside and then the guy's head fell off because she was
Yeah.
actually eating his neck. Or
Right.
when he was futzing with the fuses and the
Well,
lights came on and they're all standing there. It
she's
wasn't,
eating his neck, right?
yeah.
And they're all looking at her like and making comments. All they've been making out for so long.
Yeah.
It's rude. Get a room.
Yeah. I loved that it was flipped like that. It wasn't the boo moments weren't with the zombies, they were with regular human beings.
What makes this movie work is how they react to the horror is
Mm-hmm.
what makes it funny.
Yeah.
So the horrible things are happening around them, but how they take those things and how they react to them. There was no, okay, so let's think about the zombie trope for just a second. You always have this gung ho Stallone type is the only way I know how to put it. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bad A. I can handle this. I can take it. Blah 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 blah. They're also generally one of the first ones to get killed, but nonetheless, you always have that. In this one, you didn't have that at all. It was really a progression of your everyday guy and
Mm-hmm.
how people might really react to this type of situation
Oh
because
yeah.
you got red on you.
Right.
Yeah.
You get your your loved ones together, and you figure it out on the way. I mean, and that's pretty much what it is. But it's, you got your comedy, and it's, hey, let's get everybody together. Let's go to the bar.
Let's go.
The bar is going to be the safest place, and it's just, it's fun.
Which is not.
And the one character that was so unlikable, the I think his name was David.
David,
Yeah.
and he was awesome because he made you not like him within the first 3 words he spoke.
Oh yeah.
we skipped over. Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Oh, when they made it to the bar and they said, and Simon left to try to get the zombie horde to run away. And he said, what are we going to do now? Does he even have a plan? Simon comes back and they go, what's the plan? You're going to sit around all night and eat peanuts and drink beer? And they flash forward and they're sitting around drinking beer. And I don't have a plan beyond this.
Like,
would you like peanut?
Like, I got us this far. Fuck, man. What are we going to do? Sorry, I said the F word.
So we skipped over that scene. And that is my favorite scene, is when he's ripped out of the window.
No. Let's keep that last. Okay. We're going to keep that for a little while because that's late in the movie.
It's burning in my gut.
So we're going to back up to the beginning just a little bit, or the middle of the movie just a little bit. Grace, I know you said you haven't seen it. You have to, honey. You have to. This movie is so good. Did you catch all the times that they told you what was going to happen later in the movie?
Are you talking to me or Grace?
You. Grace can't answer.
Oh, I thought she was talking to the comments. What do you mean?
When they were sitting at the bar, this is kind of one of those things, and I don't know the exact quote, but early on they were sitting at the bar. This was right after Liz broke up with Sean, and he was in the bar, right? And the Journey song comes on, and he's crying. Who put this on? It's all random. And he says, tomorrow morning we're going to get up and have a Bloody Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I didn't notice.
Did you catch that?
No.
Mary was the name of the first zombie they had that was in the garden the next morning.
Okay.
Oh, get out.
No. So he goes, we're going to get up tomorrow morning, we're going to have a Bloody Mary. Right?
Yeah, I guess they did.
And they did. He goes, and then he says they're going to shamble somewhere else, and it actually was like where they left and went to. He goes, and then we're going to stagger our way back to the Winchester, right? Which they did when they were acting like zombies, right? He goes, and then we're going to have shots, which they did with the gun. They told you the rest of the movie in that one little scene.
Nice.
It was cool. And here's the really cool thing about it. And I don't know if you guys caught this yet or not either. But when Sean wakes up the first morning, and he comes out and he makes the yawn, you kind of think maybe he's a zombie at first.
Mm-hmm.
And Ed is playing the shooter game. And he leans over and he goes, upper left corner, reload, so forth. When they were in the Winchester and he had the gun, Ed was standing over his shoulder going, exact same thing. Upper left corner, nice shot, reload. He literally,
no, I didn't notice that.
It was perfect. I mean, the callbacks in this movie, they have, in comedy, they have that callback thing, right? Where you tell a joke, it goes over well, you wait a little while and you call it back. They called back almost everything. So in the It's Red scene, you got red on you. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that through the movie, the progression of the blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more red on him, the more heroic he got.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So sorry about that.
What was the first little bit of red? Because that was in the store. They said it was like
pen.
Okay.
Yeah, his pen was like, you got red on you.
And fun fact: the name of the or whatever store you want to call that, whatever electronics store. The name of it was after the name of the lead actor in Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they and here's another fun fact for you. Are you ready? You guys remember Pete? He was the flatmate.
Yes. Yeah.
Pete, right? So his real name was Peter.
Mm-hmm.
He was also the voice actor for Darth Maul.
Oh, get out.
And he played the Tick. That is one cool guy.
the Tick in the live action?
The live action
That's
that was
the same guy?
Yeah, not too long ago on Amazon. Yeah, same guy. Not the original.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I like both of those. I haven't watched the second take in a while, but
Yeah. So
yeah.
very funny, very, very cool guy. That was very cool.
And if the listeners haven't realized by now, we are big fans of Star Wars here on Press Play. Big fans of Star Wars. Shout out Lane Davis. Between me and
Star Wars is the greatest movie ever.
Nice.
Oh, baby. I love you too.
Aw, he's so
she
cute.
called you cute.
She-
Mrs.
she did.
Treehouse called me sexy earlier this
So, so let's show a quick clip if we can.
Bring it on.
And then I want to talk about this. So,
And while he's bringing that up, I mean, everybody, we highly recommend to see this. I mean, obviously, first episode, we're excited, and we want you guys to see this movie just because we feel like this movie's like a piece of us. You know, it's fun, it's got storyline, it's got bass, it's got everything you want, and you know,
Well crafted.
it is it from beginning to end, and it's a fun ride. I mean, you got your, you know, you fall in love with the people.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
hated Ed at the beginning and loved him at the end.
You do know the front door was.
all right. So the reason I wanted to share that clip with you, is really simple. That quick cut scene, right? We talked about this. Steph and I talked about this just a little bit before we went live. Hold, please. Something just happened.
What happened?
I don't know if you can hear it, but I can, and it's driving me crazy.
What is it?
Got it. So anyway, there was a that quick clip screen. Yeah, I started getting advertisements in my ear. The quick clip scene that they showed there happened a couple times in the movie for different things, and the director of the movie actually does that a lot in his films. But in this particular instance, he was actually inspired by the movie Rambo. If you'll notice when they're doing that, right? You know, in the Rambo movies, he like the knife, you know, whack, and then it's a real quick clip. Then it's the gun, it's a real quick clip, and it ends with him cinching his headband, right? He's getting ready to go to war. In this one, it's the toilet flush, the teeth brush, and he finishes by cinching his tie.
Nice.
That's Sean's ready to go to war. Sean is literally, he's a loser. Let's face it. In this movie, he starts out as such a loser. God love him. But he's the everyday man. He resembles, you know, he's designed to take after any one of us, right?
Oh yeah.
Again, it's not a Rambo type guy, right? He is just your everyday guy, and he's losing his girlfriend. He wants to make it life better. I mean, when he's at work, he's trying to impress a 17-year-old boy.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. So, so let's move on a little bit down the road, if we will.
Well, that's what I mean. That scene we were talking about him, you know, walking through the town hungover and not noticing everything around him. I mean, we've been there for the guy. You go out with your best buddy, you just got dumped, you feel like a loser. Let's get all the booze we can. I mean, you know, you really do. You feel for the guy.
You do feel for him. You do. But he brings a lot of it on himself, you know. He really does. So let's talk about one of my favorite scenes.
Okay.
Which one?
There's a girl in the garden. What? There's a girl in the garden. So they walk out. This is when they actually first realize or first acknowledge
Shit was hitting the face.
A zombie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Only they don't think that she's a zombie. What do they say, Seth?
She's so drunk.
She's so drunk.
Yeah.
She's so drunk. And they thought she was drunk. And it's funny because Ed, being who he is, when the girl falls on Sean and is trying to bite him, Ed runs in the house and runs back out with a camera because he wants to take a picture of the drunk girl. I mean, this movie is so funny because of the way they do these things. And then all of a sudden they pull out their records because they know the guy on the news said he had to damage the brain, and they start flinging albums at them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you notice?
First shot hit Mary right in the cheek. Like it was so ugly.
Well, the funny part though is he's naming the albums. Ed's naming the albums, right? And Sean's like, "No, I like that one." And he comes across the Batman soundtrack, which, as we all know, Prince, God rest his soul, was a genius. But that album, that was so bad. And he's just literally like, "Fling it," Sade, fling it. It's so funny. So, Peg said that he actually ran into Sade at an elevator in New York
Oh my
City,
God.
and he was like, "Oh God, what's she
Did
gonna
she
say?"
see it?
And she literally said, "Thank you for using my album."
Nice.
Thank you
Nice.
for using my album. Another thing that I loved about this is the relationship between Ed and Sean.
Well, your best friend movies. I mean, in general, you fall in love with the characters, you fall in love with their story, especially someone like me who's just a complete jackass sometimes. You do stupid stuff with your friends. You just do, and we've all been there. Fun fact about Ed is he shaved his privates.
Yeah.
So he could constantly be itching his nuts throughout the movie. That just to buy into the character. That's a real thing.
Oh,
The actor did?
yeah,
Yes,
he did.
yes.
So
So that you may hate Ed more for that. I don't know.
That's brilliant.
So here's another thing. The reason why Sean and Ed worked so well together as friends, they actually did share a flat for years before they were
nice.
famous. And a
Nice.
lot of the things that they say are things that were actually part of their real life. So okay, so let's take the scene where he's looking out the mail slot, right? And Ed makes the faux pas of saying the Z word. He asks him if there's zombies out there.
Mhm.
Okay. So first of all, here's the two things about this. This scene to me was so important because it was short. It was hilarious because it was exactly how me and my friends would react with each other over stuff. I mean, exactly. I mean, me and Steph, there were times that we would exactly react with each other in a similar, if the circumstances were different, because literally I would have been like looking at the window and I turned and said, "Don't say that." He's like, "What? The Z word, the Z word. Don't say that." And his response would, I just admonished my son. His response wouldn't be, "I'm sorry, Dad," or whatever. He'd go, "All right, well, are there any?" Right? He's not going to say he's sorry for saying something I didn't want him to say. He's just going to keep going with the conversation. And I would accept it just like he didn't go, "Yeah, I think so." You're right. So, as far as that's concerned, yeah, the guys really did love each other. The tagline for this movie was a romantic comedy with zombies, and a lot of people look at that and they talk about Liz and Sean, which is true. Their story is fantastic, but it's also Sean and Ed.
Oh yeah.
They're the couple in this movie. I mean, Liz is just a part of the plot.
Well,
I mean, they're boyfriend. They're together.
Well, it's like
Liz just is there to spice it up a little bit.
Well, it's like David said. He goes, something about having a spat with your boyfriend, and he goes, "He's not my boyfriend," and then he hands him the beer, and he goes, "Thanks, love."
A babe. I think he called it babe. Thanks,
Yeah,
babe.
that's it. Thanks, babe.
Yeah. Love. Thanks, babe. Yeah.
Thanks, babe. So,
I love the way they play off each other too. Like, when Sean gets the idea of we're going to go to the Winchester, we're going to let this whole thing blow over.
Sorry, Phil.
Yeah. He calls his mom, and oh, Mom, have you been bitten? No, Philip has. Oh, okay. And then Ed comes over and he's saying,
"We're coming to get you, Barbara."
Right. Says the same exact thing. Yeah. What happened? Oh, Philip was bitten. Oh, okay. It's cool.
So for those of you who have seen the movie and didn't catch it, the "We're Coming to Get You, Barbara" was actually intentionally written as a callback to George A. Romero's very first Night of the Living Dead, because in the first scene, the brother says to her, "They're coming to get you, Barbara." Right? So that's what that callback's for. All right. So Edgar Wright and Sean, they wanted George A. Romero's buy in on this. So they rented a theater in Florida near where Romero lives, and he went and watched the movie by himself with just him and a security guard. They absolutely did not. He didn't know. When he heard the line, it went right over his head. They had to remind him that he wrote the line.
Oh,
Hey
nice.
guys, do me a favor, real quick. Everybody in there, put a quick hello in. We have a special guest that just came into our chat stream. Horror Movie Talk is here. These guys do a horror movie podcast, and I will tell you right now, I've seen and listened to many. They are some of the best, and not only that, are they two schlubs that do horror movie reviews, but they are so funny.
Nice.
Oh my God, they're so funny. Really great guys. So
Check that out.
I know that you can get them on Spotify, Google. I actually found them on Pandora. Was where I first found them. So
Nice.
if you like horror movies at all, definitely check them out. They put a great. They know what they're talking about. But man, are they fun. They are so fun. And the games they play, they just crack me up. Anyway,
Nice.
So thanks for being here, guys. We really appreciate you. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of this one. So they finally get back to the Winchester. How did they get there, Seth?
By a sure strike of bullshit luck.
No doubt.
Just luck and that's all. I mean, they're so, like you said, she's so drunk. That whole like that scene. I mean, they're oblivious, and that's what makes it funny, and that's what makes it good.
Well, I love that he crafted a very quick plan. He went, I got to protect mom. I got to go get the girl. We got to go to the Winchester.
Yeah.
And there was no extraneous side elements to that. It was like, go do that. How do we do that? I don't know. We get in the car and we drive. Like, let's just go.
Right.
And
we stopped by.
They tried to just stick to it, and there was nothing. They weren't trying to save people along the way.
We take the car. We save Mom. We kill Phil. We
get Liz. Yeah.
Get Liz. Go to the Winchester. Get a few pints and wait till this thing blows up.
And this is a throwback to martial art days, Alan. What did Bruce Lee say about fighting spirit? He said something about fighting spirit, and an interviewer said, "What does that mean?" And he went, "If I make it my mission in life to bite your ear off if we're going to have a confrontation, and you're not as specifically goal oriented as me, then you'll lose. You may punch me a couple times or kick me, but I'm going after that ear, and I will have it."
It's funny. I'm going to make another quick martial arts reference. When we were taking Sambo, which is basically like a Russian jiu-jitsu. And the instructor was there, literally would tell you what hold he's going to put you in before the match started. And that's exactly how the match would, and that's how the match would end.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly how it would end.
That's all he had. That's all he wanted. That's what I liked about their plan, is that they just went, this is all I got, 3 steps, let's go. And we'll do whatever we have to along the way to get there. There was no.
But the first plan would have worked better, right? The first plan was to go to Liz's and have tea and wait for it to blow over.
Oh, yeah.
But Ed, being who Ed is, said, no, that's not going to work because I have to be somewhere where I can smoke.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he did say familiar. I want to know where the exits are. I want to be able to smoke. It's got to be familiar.
No, he wanted to smoke because, let's face it, Liz was on the second floor. All he had to have done was barricade the door and they'd have been fine. Right? Instead, let's go somewhere where it's familiar. Let's have drinks and I can smoke. Yeah. And as we found out, he also wanted to play pinball, apparently. So my point was once they got, Sean's mom was bitten. They decide to start acting like zombies. This is something that's never been done in a zombie movie before. Right? They start acting like zombies and blend in order to get there.
Yeah.
Right? So,
and like you said, the mom's bitten and she's just standing there.
She's staring off into space. I love this, Barbara.
And she went, perfect.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I drifted away for a second. What did you need me to do?
Yeah, I was miles away from here. So they finally get there. They can't get in. Sean leads the zombies away. How do you think he did that? It's funny because he really, literally ran through a whole thing of zombies. Well, in the extras, if you ever watch the extras on the DVD, if you get a chance to, they actually fill in those story gaps with basically like steel drawing cartoons. Because you notice how slow all the zombies move.
Yeah.
he outran them and have to stop and wait for them to start to catch back up. And then he run further and wait for them to catch up. And the third time he jumped inside a dumpster and just waited for them to go by.
Did they film that, or they just
no?
Okay.
No. They just were filling in like some of that type of stuff. It's stuff that they had thought about and planned, but just didn't feel it was right to get in. You know, it would take up too much time, so to speak.
Yeah.
There's another piece of trivia that I know that neither of you know, and I don't know if anyone in the comments know also. They had talked about doing a second Shaun of the Dead, a sequel. They did not, and I'm glad they didn't. But here's the title. The title alone made me want to go it because it was going to be Shaun versus vampires. They were going to call it From Dusk Till Shaun.
The Dusk Till Shaun?
From Dusk Till Shaun.
I would press play on Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, here's the funny thing, though. This movie, guys, for those of you who haven't seen it, it is such a part of pulp culture now that in the Miles Morales Spider-Man from the Multiverse, which is probably one of the best Marvel things that have been done ever.
Great. Yeah.
He's downtown, and they have a camera view showing him off in the distance a little bit. And they show him off in the distance a little bit, and there's a big billboard on the back that has the Shaun thing, the logo like the movie, and it says, From Dusk Till Shaun.
Oh, get out. I love that.
I didn't notice
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Give me 1 second, guys.
So, you know, I think it gets, you know, it ramps up, of course, when they're in the Winchester. Yeah. I mean, because that's kind of where they're headed. That's the goal. Let's get everybody back together and let's get to the Winchester, have a beer, and then we're going to be A-okay. But it don't get that easy because they, you know, Shaun, like Dan was saying, you know, they're running around and, you know, Shaun's taking everybody away. They get back and then they're waiting. And then when Shaun comes back, that's when they come to find out that his mom has been bitten. Mm-hmm.
So okay, I had alluded earlier that there was a lot of love for this movie, but man, did Simon Pegg ever show his ability to act? And if you guys don't mind, this it's a tearjerker. It really is. So I want to play this for you, and then I'm going to also tell you some behind the scenes stuff that I found out that was just absolutely amazing to me.
Ooh.
Again, this was after they found out that Shaun's mom had been bitten and she hid it from him.
Because she didn't want him to be upset.
Yeah, she did not want him to be upset at all.
I see the there it is. Point that gun at Barbara! That don't exacerbate things! What does that mean? It isn't exactly fair. Yeah. Thank you. It's okay. Please, can we just stop and think about this? Tell him to put the gun down! Look, Lizzie, she's going to change. You know I'm right. And when she does, she'll come back and she'll kill all of us. That's what your ex can't seem to realize. That's what this is about, isn't it? It's just he doesn't like me. He's always hated me and now he wants to shoot my mom. She's not. You never thought I deserved her, that I was good enough. What are you talking about? Oh, come on. We all know you're in love with Liz. That is not true. Yes, it is.
Oh, yes. You could tell it through the whole movie, too.
What? I know you only hung out with me at college to get close to Liz, and when she knocked you back, I was there to pick up the pieces. I've come to terms with that, Das. Why can't you?
Lizzie, I want you to know that my feelings for you have always been essentially...
David, please, there are slightly more pressing matters at hand here.
You know, the fact that Daph's is pointing a gun at my mum. I'm not the one who's being unreasonable, Pico. For Christ's sake, she's not dead. She's finished. For a hero, you're quite a hypocrite. You're the one that's gone from being a chartered accountant to Charlton Heston. I'm not a chartered accountant. Well, you look like one.
Yeah, I do look like one.
I'm a lecturer. You're a twat. Yeah. She's not your mum anymore. In a minute, you'll be
sad part is he's right. He's just being a total ass about the way he does it.
Can we just calm the fuck down?
Great Liz moment.
I can see what David is trying to say.
Thank you, Lizzie.
And he was being a twat as well. So here's the thing. The remainder of this scene gets really, really hard. And I didn't want to show it because I didn't want to affect anyone's sensibilities. But literally, Sean's mom becomes, she turns. She becomes a Z word right in front of him. She turns, and it's heart wrenching. So much so that after the scene was done, Simon Pegg left the set, went to his trailer, and bawled.
Oh,
Just cried his eyes out. He said we were so tired, and it was such an emotional scene. So you go from the pool cue scene
Right.
to this, all within a matter of less than just a few minutes.
yeah. There's a moment in that scene that I really enjoyed how it was crafted. If I can chat about it, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
So she does turn, she stands up, and her eyes slowly start to glaze over to that zombie glaze. And she's kind of just looking at all of them. And right before he pulls the trigger, because I was thinking if he shoots her in the face and all we see is mom, that's bad. And they gave like a millisecond of her going and starting to, like, right before she got her mouth fully open to growl, then he pulled the trigger. So we got to see like that much of the zombie, but it was not enough to take away the fact that he still shot his mom in the face. You know what I mean? I was like, well done. You
and it had to be that
me
way.
from hating.
You couldn't have done it any other way. And I agree with you both about his like kind of acting chops, but the way that the movie was building up to that point, you kind of, you got to have that one person that's close to the heart in this type of movie. But in those emotional moments, you scream, you yell, you cry. I mean,
you do.
Oh, yeah.
And kudos to him, kudos to Sean, because he is the hero and he is the hypocrite, as they said.
He is the hero and the hypocrite. Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, guys, I'm going to another real quick share, if I may. Hopefully, you can hear the audio about now. I don't know why.
Nope. Put this on,
there you go. There. This was probably the most famous scene in the movie.
David, kill the queen. What's with the jukebox? Liz,
kill the queen.
It's not real. Cocktails. What do you mean? The flaming spirits, Drambuie, Sambuca, brandy, get a racket.
There are young people who have watched this and said that they discovered Queen because of this scene.
Nice.
I love that. I don't know if you heard him or not when he jumped over the pool table. He literally said, "How about we play some pool?"
John, it's time
to the perfect rhythm of the song.
Oh yeah. Great.
I don't know about you guys, but the very first time I saw this scene, I literally laughed myself till I thought I was going to fall over.
Oh yeah.
But it goes past that, it goes past the pool six.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes all the way to the,
yeah,
to the my favorite part,
which is where I was just getting ready to go.
Which, as you guys could see, as the clip that that showed, is when the guy's a dick. Everyone hates David. Okay, no one likes David.
We love to hate David.
Sucks. We don't want any part of David. So David is pretty much at some point he's like, I'm done. I'm getting out of here. And then what happens?
So what happens is right after Sean has to put his mother down. We're going to say it in a nice way. David's like going, I can't do this. I can't stay here anymore. And he backs up to a big plate glass window. Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I need to pause right now, real quick, because I forgot that we had a sponsor for today's episode. Our sponsor is the company who is owned by John Worth and Billy Less, and they got together to make candy. It's the Worth Less Candy Company, and they're now offering sugar glass. That's right, sugar glass. It will not protect your home from weather, and it'll probably melt in the rain. But the last thing you want is to be cut to death when you're pulled through the window by a horde of zombies. Sugar glass. Anyway, so as with any horror film, if you've seen any horror movies, someone winds up getting pulled through that glass, right? And it's an exact homage to Dawn of the Dead. They pull him through, and what do they do to him, Seth?
These zombies rip apart this man's guts like 5-year-old boys on Christmas morning opening their gifts, and their insides are the presents. Okay.
So here's the really fun part about that. I don't know if y'all noticed this or not, but what was Liz's friend and his girlfriend's name again?
Diane.
Diane. Thank you. Diane left. Right, she went through the door. She was still carrying his leg.
Yeah.
Oh,
when she went through the door. Yeah. So again, they intended for her to live. So she was found days later up in a tree. She'd been surviving by eating on his leg.
This was an extra in the story? Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, I don't remember seeing that at the end.
Yeah. So
a little much there.
So the zombies break in, of course, they're stuck. And our hero, Ed, gets bitten. They can't get out. There's no way. They're out of ammunition. They've basically used alcohol to light a fire to stay them back, and they drop down and they're in the basement, right?
And at this point, it's just Ed and Sean and Liz.
So the only survivors, Ed, Sean, and Liz, as far as they know. And the big contention through the whole movie was with Liz was that Sean's trying to get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sean had thrown his cigarettes out early to say, I'm quitting cigarettes. I'm trying to get better. And then Liz, at some point during the conversation, takes Sean's cigarettes out of her pocket that she picked up out of the trash, gives him one and her one, and they light it and smoke cigarettes together.
Right.
This is where you really see the love for Ed. Ed has been bitten. He's dying. Ed is literally at this point, telling him, leave without me, go and leave me here. Kill me if you have to, kind of thing. But him and Sean have this really, really touching moment where Ed has to apologize to him. He says, I'm sorry, Sean. Typical guy joke. Apparently, he let out a BFD. That's the second one of those, too. If you don't know what that is, that's what is it? Silent but deadly, SBD, right? Silent but deadly fart, and apologized to him for that. But the thing is that he says, "Will you stop doing that?" He goes, "I'll stop when you stop laughing."
Mm-hmm.
And he puts his head on his forehead, and he's like, "I'm not laughing."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was really a touching moment. But for those of you who are in the in chat room who are my friends who give me hell for smoking all the time, because you do, in this movie, that cigarette light also saved their life because that showed them the way out.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, although I'm killing myself slowly, there might be cases where it may help me stave a zombie attack. So just so you're aware, we're all good with that. What did you guys think about the quick turn on the ending?
The quick turn? What do you mean?
Everything was dreadful, horrible, out of control. They take the elevator out of the basement, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're set to fight, and it's going to be, we really, as a viewer, you're thinking this is it. They're going up there to die, and literally no sooner they get settled, does the army come in and save the day. Mm-hmm. Did it make you feel like it was a tact ending?
No, it didn't. It didn't bother me at all because I didn't really see where else it could go.
Yeah.
There's no way they could have won a fight with what at that point looked like hundreds of zombies outside of the bar.
Yep.
So something had to happen. There had to be a shift.
Exactly. And my thing, and I will be honest, press play audience, I'm not a big zombie movie guy.
No.
Okay. Oh, there's zombies everywhere. I hear there's a place 10 miles away where there's safe to be, and we can go and live together. Let's go. Oh shit, there's zombies there. Let's go to the next place. And it's like,
10 seasons later.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Same story.
Shout out Walking Dead, sponsor here at the Press Play Podcast. You're right. It had to come to a stop.
A quick stop.
Because after the loss of the mom and after the loss, the loss of Ed, Wink, you got to come to a point.
So here's what I thought myself, and Adam, you can chime in and tell me I'm completely crazy for this. It was it felt like a fairy tale ending. Everybody's going to be great, right? But if you notice, when they went back to the flat, her stuff is there, his stuff was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
She did not, through the whole thing, she wanted him to change. She wanted adventure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He, this is a subtle callback, but I think it was really important. Early on, he was at his mom's, and his mom offered him tea, and asked him if he wanted 2 lumps of sugar, and he said, "I haven't had, since I was a kid, I haven't put sugar in it." At the very end, she sits down and says, "Would you like tea?" And he goes, "Yeah, can I have 2 lumps of sugar in it?" She became a step down. He went a step up, and that's where they felt their best. So she was pushing too hard at the beginning. He was holding back too hard.
Yeah.
But when they compromised, that's when things came together for them.
Yeah, because totally. She was like, here's the plan of the day. We're going to get some breakfast. We're going to do this. We're going to lay about. Then we're going to go to the bar.
Right.
Sounds great.
And the bar, was the bar's name the Phoenix?
The Winchester.
No. At the end, because I think it was the Phoenix, which was actually the Winchester rebuilt. Came up out of the ashes of the Winchester.
Nice.
But and then of course we find that wink, wink, wink. Ed's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Where's he at?
He's in the shed.
Which is exactly where Pete told him to go live earlier in the movie. Pete, when they were having their first argument, he literally says, if you're gonna be an animal, go live in the shed.
Nice.
Pete leaves, and Ed goes, the next time I see him, he's dead. Both of which came true.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. And by the way, just so you know, in the chat, dogs can look up. Just so you know, they can. If you haven't seen the movie, you won't get that.
Another thing I love too, this just was so funny. They're flipping through the channels, and it's showing the aftermath of the zombies, and they've got like the American Ninja Warrior, but with zombies, and they're tied up, and they're like going through obstacle courses, and they're a news thing that's like, oh, they've become great employees, and they're like pushing carts and shit. It's just so obnoxious, but very funny, and a good little pace changer since all the madness.
And I will say this, I think Ed really got what he wanted.
He did.
He got to play games all day and hang out with his buddy Sean.
Yeah.
So everybody was happy. All right. So here we go. In the comment section, based on our excitement, because we were all over the place. There was no linear section on this. What do you think? Shaun of the Dead, would you press play?
Yes.
Or walk away? Stephen?
I'm pressing play all day.
Press and play all day. I've seen it 10 times. I'll watch it 10 more because every single time I see it, I see something different. What about you, Adam?
Oh, yeah. Definitely watch it again. Absolutely.
Definitely watch it again. And chat, what do you guys say? Leave me a comment in there. Let me know. Put a PP in there for press play. Put a WA for walk away. Don't be shy.
PP.
Press and play. Big money.
Big money here. Is that Micah?
Yes, sir.
Micah says press play. I'm with Micah. He's a good one on this one. I'm going to give you another little something that I picked up on this. This is just while we're just chit-chatting. You know that all the zombies pretty much stayed for doing pretty much what they did before. We talked about that. I don't know if you guys caught this or not. It's probably the 10th time I saw it before I caught it. Everybody's saying press play so far. Remember the scene in the grocery store when he says, "I owe you 10p" as he walks out?
Yeah.
Later, he runs into that same zombie outside the car with his hand out like this.
Nice. Nice.
We're getting a lot of press plays.
Alex says, "Press play, faux show."
Oh.
Faux show. Did you just call her a hoe?
I'll pull a classic Sean line here, and Katie. Hello, thank you, thanks, Beth.
Hi, Kate. All right, are you ready for this, Katie? Don't fall out of your chair. Loved your all's excitement about it, so maybe press play. Coming from someone who don't watch horror films.
Nice.
All right, so we've talked about 2 different films today. We've talked about Shaun of the Dead. We also talked about The Fountain. That's the one that our guest brought to us. I have to ask a real quick question of you guys. how did you like the format of a guest coming on and us not knowing what the movie is, just like you didn't know what the movie is? Do you think that that is something that you'd like to see us do again with Adam or with other guests as well? I do have a couple of surprises lined up for our next casts.
Ooh. I mean, I like the format because I'm here.
You've been great, bud.
Yeah, you have been awesome. I actually tried to talk. Hold a minute. I also tried to talk Grace into coming on and doing her movie. She's like, "No way!"
Nice.
So let's see what it said here. Looks great. Production quality is super. Ready for the next episode. Excellent. So speaking of the next episode, we're going to jump off fairly quick. We're going to end the episode. Let's see here. Let's see what Katie's got to say. I would never guess this was your first show, and Adam has been so great.
Oh.
I can't thank Adam enough, guys. Stefan and I have been talking about wanting to do this for quite a long time. As another, just so you know, as another section of our Press Play streaming studio. I have another friend of mine by the name of Dave Shields. He and I are actually in the process of writing comedic skits. So we're going to add some comedic short video content as well. Alex says you've got a new viewer. So that's awesome.
Hey.
All right. And I think we decided that our next podcast, we're going to try to do one of these about every 2 weeks to start out. And I think we're going to talk about.
I think before you tell the audience that what we're going to talk about, we just drop a hint.
A hint?
A hint.
There are people who may think it's a horror movie. There are some people who don't.
And I got one.
And, go ahead.
Hold on to your butts.
And the CGI in this, the CGI in this is so good that it makes you want to believe.
Okay.
That's super intriguing.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, the CGI in this is so good it makes you want to believe. So, all right. So we're not going to tell them exactly then.
No. Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts. It's going to be a good one.
Leave us hanging.
Yeah, we're going
Great.
to.
Always leave them wanting something more. It's great.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to save the video, so definitely leave comments. So I'd love to have what you hear what you have to say. Any suggestions you have. Okay, so you're on YouTube right now. Right down here on the bottom somewhere, there's a bunch of buttons that you're supposed to push. One of them's red, says subscribe. There's a thumb like this and a thumb like that. We don't like this one. We love this one. Be sure to leave a comment as well, because like I said, we will be following up on those. And if you have any suggestions for movies that you'd like to hear us babble on and on about, leave them in the comments because we love to babble. We love each and every one of you. We appreciate you being here. And we are going to sign off for the night. Again, Adam, you have been so great.
Oh.
I'm going to let everyone say goodbye to Adam. We're going to let him sign off real quick.
See you, Adam.
See you, Adam. Thanks, man.
Appreciate guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
both,
you. All right, guys. Again, this is Press Play's movie chat. Be sure to leave those comments, and we've already got some people suggesting some stuff in the live stream. This may be one for the future. We'll have to wait and see. So that being said, I just want to say we love you. We appreciate you. And remember, when all's said and done, you got to